a fan of Star Wars for a while, and I wanted a reason to do a fucking episode of a tier list shit, where I ranked all the Star Wars vehicles, and May 4th, Star Wars Day, was like 2 weeks ago, so, close enough. So, happy May 4th, you know, may the 4th be with you. And all that. So what's good, everybody? My name is Neesterhere, and welcome to another tier list, my boys. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing just Star Wars vehicles tier list. I don't know why the hell I wanted to do this. It just sounded so stupid of an idea, and I think it would just be an absolute banger of an idea. So we got 6 tiers here. We got absolute banger, pretty good, solid, does the job, a bit stinky, and absolute shitter. This video is probably going to be a giant mistake. So let's get started. The AT-AT walkers. So these guys are kind of chads in the Star Wars game. They're slower than fucking molasses, and they're also pretty much just giant ass camels, but they are iconic. I'm not going to say it's an absolute banger because actually driving one of these things would be a whole rotter of an experience. So I'm just going to say it's pretty good just because of the clout of it. The TIE Fighter, my boy. This guy is probably my favorite of all of them. The TIE Fighter is just a fucking classic, my boys. The sounds of it flying through the air, the sounds of the little blaster gun shits, like, this is just a whole ass banger, my boys. Like, it's just, the TIE Fighter is like probably the most recognizable ship on this whole list besides maybe like the Millennium Falcon. These little buggy bitches on Geonosis, I mean, yeah, they're cool. I mean, they're practically just walking tanks. I mean, they literally are just AT-ATs, but just less iconic. Yeah, pretty solid. It's hard as hell to see what the hell that even is, but I'm pretty sure that's the boat, Phantom Menace, on Naboo. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, at the end of the day, it's practically just like a submarine that can just go super, super fast. So, I mean, yeah, it does the job. The X-Wing, my boy. This is top dog, my boys. Every single reason I gave to the TIE Fighter applies to the X-Wing as well. It's just iconic. Everything about it, from the look to the sound to the feel, like everything about it is just like it's just classic, you know. It's the Rebel ship, it's Luke Skywalker's ship. Like, hey, it's just a whole banger. This fucking thing, I have no idea what this even is. I'm trying to think about when this was, probably in like Attack of the Clones or some shit. But I mean, it looks just pretty straightforward. Also, it does the job. I don't even know what the hell this one is. It's just 2 little dots. Bit stinky. The floating tanks in Phantom Menace. These ones are actually kind of cool, you know, because it's practically the same thing as this one, but this one floats. So honestly, I'll put it like right there. Yeah, I can fuck with that. This thing, I have no idea what the hell that even is. It looks like a lunchbox. I'll put it in, does the job. The giant gunships from Attack of the Clones. These ones are actually kind of cool, you know. They're fucking enormous for starters. Like, I know that Yoda is inside of one at one point. Like, it's just a cool little guy. You know, I think it does have like a bit of a like a classic kind of feel to it. I can kind of fuck with it, you know. Solid, baby. Let's go. Ship that started the entire franchise off. So this one is the first ever thing that you see in the entire Star Wars saga, and then also within the first 5 minutes of it being on screen, it fucking gets blown to shit. So because of that, I'll put it in a bit stinky. This piece of shit, man, from A New Hope, yo, this, what is this, the Jawas, or the Javas? I forgot what their name is, but like, these guys have this giant-ass, slow, bitch-ass looking, Noah's Ark looking-ass tank, and it just looks like a pain in the ass. Inside of it is a disgusting shithole, and on the outside of it, it looks like an actual piece of shit. So we're going to put that one in absolute shitter, baby. So a lot of these on here, I actually have no idea what they are. I'm just going solely off of how they play in like Star Wars Battlefront. And so this guy right here is an absolute piece of shit, because I think that this one is actually slower than fucking molasses. So we're going to put that also in the F tier. The speeders on Endor, these ones are actually an entire classic, you know. I'll put it up there and pretty good. They're faster than shit. It's probably the fastest thing on this whole list, to be honest with you. Or like realistically, because, you know, hyperspace and speed and whatnot. It's pretty much just like a flying dirt bike, but it can go at the speed of like, you know, a spaceship. So it's pretty cool, actually. You know, I can fuck with the Endor speeders. I hit the bike. I'm so sorry. Does this even count as a ship? I feel like this is just like a space station and not really like an actual vehicle. It has a fun design though. So, you know, fuck it. I'll put in like a bit stinky, because it kind of is. This fucking thing, I don't even know what the hell that is, does the job. The spider droid, or spider ship, or whatever the hell it's called, I do kind of fuck with this, though. It has, like, a fun little design. It stands up like a spider, and then when you fucking launch, it kind of horizontals itself. It's pretty cool, actually, you know. I'll put it in the bottom, but pretty good. This big-ass thing, I don't know what the fuck that is. Fuck you. The AT-ST, yes, my nerd knowledge is showing. The AT-STs are kind of cool, because they're literally just the AT-ATs, but smaller. Because that practically is what it is, but it also is the most fragile piece of dog shit ever invented, to the point where like 2 Ewoks can fucking destroy this thing, and because of that, I can't even really put it in does the job, so I'm going to put it at the top of a bit stinky, because just the durability of it is just absolute trash. This thing always reminds me of that one Mr. Garrison vehicle that he made in South Park, where it literally fucks you in order to drive it, and just because of that alone, I'll put it in solid. I think this guy right here is called the TIE Bomber. I think. I could be wrong. I have no idea. It looks like an absolute classic. Like, it's just another iconic-ass Empire ship. So, fuck you, dude. Pretty good. This big-ass spaceship, it looks like a giant toothpick. We'll put it in solid. This thing looks like a moldy sub-sandwich. Fuck you. I can't even tell what the hell that is. A bit stinky. The homeboy Anakin and Obi-Wan ship from the beginning of episode 3. My boy, absolute banger. These things are fucking god tier, my boys, right? First of all, in Battlefront, they are, like, faster than hell. And overall, you know, I've said this a lot. I'm sounding like a broken record, but, like, it's just iconic, man. It's just a classic-ass fucking vehicle, bro. Like, plus, these vehicles were also used, like, the height of Obi-Wan and Anakin's like friendship and shit, and just because of that alone, that immediately just makes it an absolute banger. The transporter fucking looking fucking Dorito chip triangle shit. This is practically like Sidious's and Vader's like just personal kind of just like taxi vehicle. And because of that, I think it's actually pretty good. You know, like it has like a fun little purpose to it. I'll put it in pretty good. The Millennium Falcon, yes, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? It's the fucking Millennium Falcon. This is literally the Star Wars ship. It's been in like genuinely like damn near every single movie. I think it even has a cameo in one of the prequels, like far in the distance in the background. It's been through so much. It's an absolute classic. It's without a doubt the most recognizable thing on this entire list. The Millennium Falcon just in general is probably just the best Star Wars ship, just hands down. The ship that baby Anakin blew up an entire space station with, like the fact that this thing can be operated fully by a child is also just an absolute banger ass concept. So I'll put it at the bottom of pretty good just because of just how funny that is. I forget, is this Padme's personal ship? Because I know it was in Phantom Menace and this is how they met Anakin. They met him in this, but like I have no idea who's this belongs to. I'm just gonna guess and say it has something to do with Padme. I think it's pretty good. You know, they spend half the movie just trying to fix it. So no matter what, it is kind of a rotter. It is kind of classic. It has like a fun design to it. It's very shiny. It's not like a clunker junker kind of mechanic feel like the rest of them have, so I'll put it just like the top. It does the job. Looks very nice. The pod racers, so these guys are actually kind of cool. You know, I love the sound that they make. I don't know why, just that sound effect is so much fun, dude. Like TIE fighters and the pod racers have just the most iconic fun sound effects ever, and I just absolutely adore it. These things are fragile as shit, so you can't really actually use them for any genuine purpose. Like shit, even just a light bump during a race will send this thing fucking rocketing away and kill the driver. But at the end of the day, though, like I said with a lot of these, though, it really is just a classic. Like it's just an absolute like just staple of episode 1. Like the pod racing is just such a massive deal in the first one, to the point where, hey, you know, I'll give it solid. You know, I think it's a solid little vehicle. This thing, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. This looks like an absolute goofball of a little design here. Put him at the bottom of stinky. I feel kind of bad though, because I feel like a lot of these I'll give it better rankings if I knew what the hell it was. But like, what's the fun then? I think one of these two right here is the vehicle that Obi-Wan takes to go fight Jango Fett. But I also have no idea what the hell this thing even is, so I'll just keep it in does the job. The Slave 1, this thing is an absolute fucking staple, my boys. We gotta put it like up here. So the Slave 1 is the ship of Jango Fett and then later Boba Fett. It has such a weird ass design how like when it lands it has to be sideways, and then when it is up in the air it's vertical. Like it's exactly what you think it would not be. Like it is the polar opposite of how you would think that it would work. And to be honest with you, I think it's just cool, right? And also the fact that they're kind of retconning its name out because it's called the Slave 1, but unlike Lego sets and shit, it's just called Boba Fett's ship. The big ass Imperial ship from episode 8. So this guy right here is just a whole bitch, because all it is just a giant blockade, essentially. But it is also responsible for one of the coolest moments in any Star Wars movies, where he uses fucking like a hyperspeed to go through a ship. That is just the craziest thing I've ever seen. So because of that, we have to give it solid, just for that reason alone. The speeders on a Hoth. So this is another one where it's just an absolute staple of the movie it's in. Empire Strikes Back featured these little bastards, and it's just a classic because they literally just wrap around the AT-ATs, and it just that alone is such a fun idea of a way to take it down, right? It's faster than shit. The bullets on it are kind of fucking super weak, I'm pretty sure. Like, it didn't actually do a dent on the actual machines themselves, the AT-ATs, I mean. But it's a part of something so iconic and so big, to the point where I'm genuinely considering putting it at like the top of pretty good, where I think it's just a genuine good-ass vehicle, you know. This thing, I don't know what the hell that is. It looks like a satellite, put in F. The iconic-ass Imperial Starship shit. I love this bastard, right? I don't know why. It's just a staple. Like, this is the shit. Also, I just realized something fucked up. If you're gonna have this thing and this damn thing, then why not the Death Star? To be honest with you, bro, we're gonna put it like up here. This thing looks like someone T-posing And because of that, I fucking love it. Put him at the bottom of solid. This thing looks like it's a giant piece of shit, and then it actually wouldn't accomplish a whole lot of anything. This thing, it's just kind of there, you know. I have like no opinion on this guy. We'll put him in just like the middle. Does the job. These next 4. So this one is iconic, but it also is just kind of like just, you know, who cares? So we'll put in just like the top of solid, or like the middle of solid. But these next 3, I just can't be fucked. I don't recognize any of these things. So we're just gonna chuck them all and just does the job. Now the Galactic Starship, I'd say that this guy is also just as iconic as the Empire one. So I'm honestly gonna put them in the same tier, but I don't think it's as recognizable as the Empire one. So we'll put it like right here. I'd say that you know, that's actually. Actually, you know what, fuck it. I'd say let's put them back to back. Yeah, I can fuck with that. The bombers from episode 8. These guys are kind of cool. You know, they're slower than shit, and they break like they're made of plastic and bubble wrap. But they do some crazy ass damage though when they're allowed to let loose. But since they move so slow and they're so damn fragile, I'll put it like the very top. It does the job. Luke Skywalker Speeder. This thing is also just an absolute classic, my boy. We're gonna put the bottom pretty good, because in terms of actual use, this thing is an absolute hooner, because really all it is just a car. This is what this is. It's just a car. That's practically what it is. But it's just so fun and so iconic, and I love it. And then last but not least, we have Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. I don't know what the name of it is. I think it's fine, you know, like I said, it's Vader's. It's literally just a TIE Fighter with just a more kind of cooler, evil-looking design. But I think at the end of the day, though, it's just a TIE Fighter, but without all the fun of it. It's just a TIE Fighter without the classicness of it. So honestly, what I'm actually kind of thinking about doing here is I might honestly move this guy, just the transporter, down a little bit, just down a tier, just to solid. But then I'm gonna move this guy up here next to the bomber. I can kind of fuck with it. Actually, yeah. No, I'll put it right here. Yeah, because it is Vader's ship, and because of that, you kind of had to give it some kind of little street cred. I'm a boy, so I'm ended off right here. So if you enjoy my list or you think it's absolute dog shit, let me know down below what you think of my shit. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of content, then the buttons are down there. You know what to do. And have a good one. So goodbye. See ya.